Hi, Dino Tripodis from Whiskey Business. Do you think that you're superstitious when it comes to being a fan of Buckeye Nation as another football season is getting ready to kick off here in Columbus, Ohio? You got nothing on our next guest on Whiskey Business. It's the return of Billy DeMora coming up. Who doesn't like to win? Everybody likes to win. It's good to win. People call you a winner when you win. It's much better than the alternative, which is losing. As a child, growing up, I would play board games with my sister. She was a horrible loser and a horrible winner, I might add. In fact, she never really got to experience being a loser, because if she ever thought she was losing when we were playing a game, in a fit of anger and frustration, she would just mess up the board and say, there is no winner, there's no loser, because it's over. And we didn't finish. That's not a gracious winner or loser. And when we would actually finish a game that she thought that she was actually winning and would eventually win, she would gloat. It's hard not to gloat sometimes when you win. And I say that as I'm holding not one, but 2 awards. The Columbus Podcast Awards took place this past Sunday here in Columbus, Ohio. We were nominated for Best Comedy Podcast, and we won this lovely microphone trophy. And if that's all we would have won, I would have been extremely gracious and thankful, because this is the category we were nominated in. And if you got nominated in a certain category, that made you eligible for a bigger award, the Podcast of the Year, which we also took home. And I was extremely gracious and flattered and honored to pick this one up, because there was so many great competitors in the mix that could have walked away with this one, but we didn't. If I'm thankful for anything in particular, I guess I should be thankful that my sister wasn't in the competition, because at some point she might have thrown these trophies on the ground so I wouldn't win them, and if she couldn't. And if my sister is listening and watching, you're much better at playing board games now than you were as a child. But thank you. We love winning, and we're thrilled to have won this. So thank you, Columbus. And speaking of winning, tonight's podcast is a return guest. It's the return of Billy DeMora, the world's most, and I have every confidence by saying that he is the world's most superstitious Buckeye fan. I doubt that there is anyone out there that can compete with this man. He's 3 podcasts in with us in respects to his superstitions, and apparently Whiskey Business has now become part of that superstitious ritual in order to ensure a successful Buckeye season. So we'll get to Billy in just a minute. Hansberry, do you have anything in particular you want to say other than thank you? I think we covered all that.
I do. Thank you from me as well. But now is the time, I think, more than ever, we to share. I think we might have maybe some new listeners.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
But yeah, share Whiskey Business on iTunes is where you can find us, or your favorite podcasting app. YouTube. That's the cool thing about we videotape all of these and put them on YouTube. Subscribe at YouTube. Or Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis.
Yep.
Those are always fun. And plus, sometimes we do extra little vignettes and shots and things.
And we stick those up on the Instagrams, and they show up on Facebook.
That's right. Well, and that's what I was going to say next. The Instagrams and the Facebooks and the Twitters, you can find us all in there.
Yeah, and, there's a bunch of stuff I did on Instagram on a recent trip down to Frankfort, Kentucky. I had the pleasure of going down there with Jim Canepa, the superintendent of Ohio Liquor Control, and his staff to help select, it's not a secret anymore, to help select 7 barrels of Weller foolproof whiskey, 114 proof, I believe, is 114. Yeah, I think it's 114 and 114 that's coming to Ohio.
Are they selling it this week or next week?
I don't know. That's the 12 year. That's the 12 year that's coming out. This is a whole different round of special barrels that are coming out. And I had the pleasure, the good fortune, talk about winning. That was a win, to go down there and actually sample 21 different barrels of whiskey to help select 7. And I'm happy to say that the 7 that I picked, 5 made the cut. So
nice.
Yeah. So
and you're gonna have a chance to do it again.
Yes, when you and I go down to Russell's.
Old Forester.
Old Forester. We already did Russell's.
We did Russell's.
I missed that one.
You missed that
We're going to Old Forester to select another
On your
barrel.
birthday.
On my birthday.
On your birthday.
It's
a
best.
birthday present I'm giving to you. We're gonna pick a barrel.
Really? That's you purposely selected my birthday?
Yes.
As
No, that was the only day we could get in. At 10:30 in the morning in Louisville, so we'll have to decide whether we're going to go night before or that morning. But yes, we're picking out a barrel of Old Forester.
We have to go that morning. If we go the night before to Louisville before a barrel selection, I would think that our palates could be a tad tainted.
That's because I only drink every bar we go to, right? Yes.
But
well, real quick, you can find all of the chronicles of your tale. It's all on YouTube and Instagram. It's kind of fun. So
is it on YouTube as well?
Yeah, I think Johnny put it up. No,
okay. Johnny did not put it up.
All
It's
right,
not
Facebook,
on YouTube yet.
Facebook and Instagram.
Is it on Facebook?
Uh-huh.
Is it on Facebook?
Yes.
It's on Facebook. Can we put it on YouTube?
We can.
We can. We will.
It might be on YouTube by the time you hear this.
Yeah, eventually it'll be on YouTube. But it's on Instagram, so you can follow us on Instagram. That's Whiskey Business Podcast on Instagram. Okay, I think that's enough of the business. I'm excited to have him back, everybody. Billy DeMora is back. The world's most superstitious fan has returned. This podcast will not air until after the first Ohio State game.
I'm aware of that. Yeah, we'll have won by 7 or 8 touchdowns. Yes.
But in order to adhere to the superstitious nature,
has
we
to
had
happen
to
before
have
the
you
first game.
on
Yes.
before the first game.
Absolutely, yes.
If we would have done it after the
we
first
might have
game,
lost to Florida Atlantic or lost somebody else, and I'd have killed you. Yes.
I
blamed
know.
you. Yes.
Well, you would have blamed me.
I would have
too.
absolutely blamed you, of course,
Yeah, but
because you screwed something up.
How? I mean, you've had these superstitious ways for a long, long time. We've discussed this in previous podcasts, but tell me again how I got wrapped up into this, where my life changes and my life becomes affected with your superstitions, and I have to fear for my life if we don't have you on.
Because you started, I was on Sunday 95 once, and we had great audience response. Your former co-host Stacy, I think I made her laugh a lot, and we won. We won the national championship that year. Way back then,
okay,
yes, that's
so
how it started.
That was the first time.
That was the first time,
and you came. Oh, so that
we won the national championship with Jim Tressel.
I wondered if it was something significant that happened after that first visit that actually were like, light bulb over DeMora's head that says, "Oh, now I have to do this every year in some way, shape, or form."
Yes.
And since I'm no longer on the radio station, you feel that this is the next best thing to broadcasting and keeping the superstition.
Well, because it has to be with you. If it wasn't you, it wouldn't be part of the superstition. I don't care about.
So let's just say, God forbid, something happens and I'm not doing this podcast next year. Then what do we do?
Then we're in trouble.
Are we?
We play at Oregon next year. I don't know. We'd be worried about that. We'd worry about the game.
We'd have to do. We'd have to do some sort of
from the grave. Yeah.
No, I don't mean
Wow,
die.
now he's dead.
I didn't say I was going to die. I said,
okay.
what if something happened and I just wasn't doing the podcast?
Oh,
my God!
Well, then
I'm not dying.
You'd have to put me back on the radio then, or TV, wherever you go.
I'll hook you up, Billy.
Oh, my
We'll go sit back at the pond and we'll pound one back.
I'm sure in the Billy DeMora closet of things that I refuse to throw away, there's probably an old cassette recorder of some sort. We'll just hit record and technically record something.
Yeah, we can do that,
and share it with our
you
friends.
use your iPhone now and just keep me for an hour on your iPhone.
Do that. It doesn't matter what we do as long as it's some form of a broadcast.
Yeah, and someone else has to hear it other than you and me. Yes. My fans need to hear something.
Your fans.
My fans.
Yes. So you feel you do have. This has brought you fans.
Oh, I had fans from the first time I made the cover of the Dispatch. I've had fans since the radio. I was on TV a few times.
No. The first time you made the cover of the Dispatch. When did you make the cover of the Dispatch?
Oh,
I don't
God, I just moved into my place, so it was early. I was actually driving the Attorney General, Lee Fisher, around. I made the paper for having 7 TVs in my living room during March Madness, and I ran a pool in the Attorney General's office. That back then
you ran a pool in the Attorney General's office.
Yes.
And for the sake of argument, a betting pool would be illegal. Right?
No, it's not illegal because I don't take any profits.
Okay.
I make no profit on it. The winner gets all the proceeds, which means it's a pool not gambling.
Okay,
it's legal.
I got you. All right, just.
I had to tell the Attorney General that because he wasn't too happy. But I said,
well, I would imagine not. You're the Attorney General, and there's a gambling pool going on in your office.
But his predecessor, Tony Celebrezzi, actually had a written opinion said that as long as no one's taking a cut and all the profits, all the money that comes in goes out, it is a legitimate pool and it is illegal.
Tony Celebrezzi. An Italian.
Italian
had no problem with the pool.
No problem.
I'm not casting any type of stereotypes or anything like that, but interesting. All right, so you got on the cover of the Dispatch because you had how many TVs? 17.
I had 7 TVs in the living room back
then.
Seven.
7. Okay. So is that how many TVs you have total right now?
Well, no, I have 3 in the living room. I have 8 upstairs in my Buckeye room.
Is that before flat screens?
No.
Well, I have some. I have my college TV, which is a big one of those big. Yeah, I still have that college TV because it's bad luck to get rid of it.
Yeah, superstition number 82 in the list of I don't know how.
You never throw away a perfectly good TV.
Never. What are you gonna do with it?
It still works. I still every once in a while
I
watch
say
it.
that. I have a tube TV downstairs in the poker room still, a behemoth of a TV down there, which I almost.
Oh, this is a little thing still has antennas off of it.
It has antennas off.
Yeah, but
it.
it gets cable, but it still has antennas.
But it has antennas.
It was my college television in my dorm room my freshman year. I couldn't get rid of it.
I mean, the TV actually came with an antenna.
Yeah, it has antennas. It's a big rabbit ear.
So they're just there for show now.
I have it plugged into this.
You don't have them use them.
No, they don't use them.
Okay.
No.
And why do you? Because
it works.
Why do you have so many? TVs?
Because there are that many games on a Saturday. If I'm not at a Buckeye game, and I happen to come home from a noon game, and there's 7 or 8 football games on, I get to watch them all.
Okay, so your Saturdays are pretty busy.
Yes, very busy. They start at 4 in the morning, and they continue until the day is over.
Now, the bulk of this conversation, maybe not the bulk of it, but a good portion of it, I'm very curious about what you're going to do with a new coach, and I don't want to get there yet. I want to save that. I just want to tell people that with a whole new coach and a whole new regime, if you will, coming to Buckeye Nation, I'm sure that Billy has some new superstitious things that have to be put into play in order to ensure victory. But my first question to you is, and I went back on previous podcasts to see if we discussed it, and I'm not sure we did. What was the very first thing you did, whether it was as a child or as a young adult or as an adult, the first superstitious thing that you did that maybe kind of kicked off this, for lack of a better word, bizarre behavior that now embodies you?
So in 1974, I got a Christmas present from one of my uncles. It was an Ohio State, my first Ohio State shirt. Not my first, but the first one I remember getting. And because I threw a fit because I was getting all crappy clothes for Christmas. And finally, my uncle said, here, take this Ohio State shirt, because that's what I wanted, because I knew I was going to Ohio State even back then. And I wore the shirt, and it came down to my ankles, because in 1974, I was 8 years old. And I wore that shirt until we won our first national championship.
Which was
when after the 2002 national championship game we beat Miami.
Yeah.
And so I wore that shirt through that. So I wore that shirt
74
to 2002. I wore the same shirt. I washed it back then. Well, my mother did. Well, as a kid, obviously I didn't do my own laundry. And the shirt, the logo, the gray logo in the middle of it, kept fading and fading. But I still wore that shirt. By the time I retired that shirt, you couldn't read any of the gray label. You couldn't even tell it said Ohio State, but it was the same
and
shirt.
I do recall you mentioning that shirt, but I don't know if we ever actually covered the history of it. And that shirt is now retired.
That's retired. That shirt's been retired. It won the national championship. Retired.
And when you retire a piece of your superstitious memorabilia, where does it go?
It's in my closet. I could pull it out tonight if I want.
You don't mat it and frame it and display it someplace?
No,
you
because
realize
it would fall apart if I tried to do that. Because it literally is hanging on by threads.
So wouldn't it make sense to actually take it very delicately and carefully and put it someplace to preserve it?
Well, it's in my closet. It's preserved.
Yeah. I don't know if anything in your closet would really stay preserved for very long.
Well,
in fact, I don't even want to. I don't think anybody would want to go in that closet, really, both physically and metaphorically. I don't think we want to go.
No, but that was the first thing, and I wore that shirt every week. every game while I was watching him at home. And then I started going to the games. My father would take me to games, and I would wear that shirt. And I wore that shirt all through college. And at one point in time, I was a little heavier, and that shirt didn't even cover my gut. But I still wore that shirt. Then we won that, and then I lost the weight, and it fit better. And then we won that championship, and I retired the shirt because we won the title.
Okay, so let's just talk about the shirt for just a moment longer, because I want to understand. And after 3 podcasts with you, I still don't completely understand why some things stay in play and some things go away. You have this beloved shirt, but it doesn't win a championship until, so why? And there had to have been, from 74, there had to be some lopsided, dare I say it, even losing seasons where we didn't go to
We lost the Rose Bowl 1980.
Yeah.
And I threw that shirt off along with all of my clothes and just dove in my underwear into the snow and got pneumonia after we lost that game.
But you didn't throw away the shirt.
No, I didn't throw away the
shirt. So why wouldn't you think that this shirt is not cutting it? It's
because I was probably young and I didn't know I had OCD and ADHD, all that stuff back then, but now I do, and so I have to keep doing this stuff. So it started. That was my first one, and then other things happened. Doing Script Ohio.
We've discussed all those things.
Stuff happened. I just kept the ones that I kept them all. That's why I got. At one point in time, I said 177 had to be enough, and so I had to. If
177 ritualistic
for everyone
things.
I got, I had to drop one. I used to have 2 bratwursts and 3 Cokes, Pepsis before every game, and I dropped those because
not Cokes, Pepsis. Pepsi.
No
Has to be Pepsi.
No
Coke Pepsi. Has to be Pepsi.
Yes. And I dropped those because I decided that Pepsis were horrible. I started drinking beer. I didn't used to drink beer because I thought that was bad luck. But then the Pepsis didn't work, so I started drinking beer.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of drinking, we've neglected to introduce our guest bottle. I was going to do, and we'll save it for another podcast, I was going to do the Old Scout 107 American whiskey, but we'll save that because Billy was generous enough to bring along, and it's already gone because there wasn't much left of it, some Kentucky Blue Corn straight bourbon whiskey from Bluegrass Distillers. Tell me about this.
Well, it's a very, very small distillery. It's actually in a garage, and you wouldn't even know it was there. I mean, I drove there. My GPS said it was there, and I had to walk around the block before I actually found it. This was the first batch they made. It was, I think, 2 or 3 barrels. It was the first batch. It's blue corn, so it smells and tastes completely different than most anything you've ever had.
It really does.
Using blue corn.
It really does.
And I happened to go down there, and I love this, so I bought a bottle of it.
It's a little stingy on the nose.
It is.
A little stingy on the nose, but really smooth on the palate.
I bought this on the Thursday before Derby weekend this year. Mm-hmm. And if you'd have been there with me, you'd have gotten a bottle of it.
I know. I know. I need to go. I need to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Going this coming year, 2020.
I need to go to the Kentucky Derby with Billy, and I need to go to Old Forester on my birthday with Billy. Why don't I just, before we part company, let's just plan out the whole year together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
We could do that. Maybe, but I have elections to run, so maybe we'll be busy.
And football season.
Yeah, well, football season. You know what? And that's the other thing too. I'll bring that up in a moment here because I'll tell you why I think I can't ever go to your tailgate. I'll explain that. I'll explain that.
Been there when you had, right?
I explained that. You're right. I can't go to your. I've never been to your tailgate, which I hear they're amazing. We've discussed that in previous podcasts. You have a reserved space. You get there. I don't know. I think you're going to be leaving right after the podcast tonight to set up. If I'm being completely honest, and you set up this great spread, and you have portable satellite television, and so forth and so on, and you've invited me time after time to come down. I'm lazy when it comes to that. If I'm not actually going to the game, which I can't remember the last. Yes, I do remember the last football game I went to in the shoot. Yes, they did.
And you're never coming back. You're jinx. Yes. I banned the state party chairman because he came to one game against Michigan State at home several years ago. It was the first game we ever came to. We lost. I told him he's never going again.
And that was the one. That was the one that messed up our season.
Our back-to-back titles.
Yeah.
So I told him he's never going again. So I take his tickets. I don't know where his tickets anymore. I just get him and take them.
That's the one I was at.
So you're not coming anymore either. You're banned.
You can't ban me.
I can ban you.
You can't ban me.
You're banned.
You can't ban me. I can choose not to go if I actually fall prey to your superstition.
I will have you waxed before you get in.
Me.
You're banned. You're banned.
But I can come to your tailgate.
Yes, tailgate's fine.
Oh, but what if I come to your tailgate and we lose a game? Then what? I'm banned. I'm banned. You're telling me I'm banned. I'll be banned.
You would be banned.
We're dear friends, but you'll ban me.
Of course I would. I've banned other people. Yes.
We've been friends now for 15, 16, 17 years at least. You would
20 almost. 1999 is when I joined the club.
Okay, so you would ban me? If I came to a tailgate and we lost that game, and you say, "Whoa, the only thing that changed was that Dino came to my tailgate."
If that was the only thing to change, yes, I would ban you. But I mean, there's some other first timers that come to tailgate. Every week there are first timers that come.
I was gonna say, how do you keep track of that?
I keep track of who comes to the first time.
And you keep track of who comes to the first time?
Because they all come and tell me, hey, this is the first time I've been to your tailgate, so I mentally make a note.
And
if we lose, they're banned. Absolutely banned. I don't let them come to another home game.
You can't stop people from coming to a football game.
I can if I get them tickets.
How?
Because I get lots of them tickets that come. So I'll never get them tickets again.
Okay, so you do everything in your power to ban them.
Yes, I will. And
but if they find a way...
If I have to have their flat tires the morning of when I leave to go to the tailgate at 4 in the morning, if I have to flatten their tires so they don't come, I can do that.
I honestly thought by the fourth podcast that I would be able to sit here somewhat composed and maybe not so amazed at how idiotic some of the shit you do is. But the fact that you could actually believe that you could ban me from a football game is ridiculous.
So is everything else I do, but I don't care.
I might, out of respect to you, because I love you and I respect you, I might purposely ban myself. Because I don't want you to actually, which I think is going to happen one day, I don't want you to actually explode. I could actually see you, you know how people sometimes spontaneously combust?
Yeah.
I think that can happen to you someday.
I'm sure.
I think that you could be so aggravated and so irritated with something in respects to Buckeye Nation that you would actually, poosh, implode. And then you would just be a pile of neurotic ashes. Yeah, like in Scanners.
With my Italian horn and
go
gold pants
anything left.
down.
Anything left. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, so here we are on the verge of another Buckeye season and a new coach. A coach that you've actually seen at the helm.
Yes.
Yeah, he served well in the replacement capacity when Urban couldn't coach. And did you think it was a good move to give him the position?
Yeah, I don't think we should. I mean, I think Urban would still be our coach had the university not been so full of malarkey by suspending him 3 games and the president comes out and suspended more games. That was ridiculous. I mean, the guy told the athletic director what was going on. All he knew, he told the athletic director. The athletic director, it's his job from there. It's all crap.
Okay.
But yes,
we don't need to. I don't want to rehash all that.
Ryan Day was going to get stolen from us by several college teams, USC, others. We had Ryan Day is an offensive genius. I think he's going to be a great coach. I think
an offensive genius.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
that's high praise.
Yeah, high praise. I mean, I think that we are going to, if our offensive line comes together this year, which I have all hope they will, I think we could score 70 points a game because we're offense. I mean, our quarterback is young. He hasn't started for Ohio State yet, but he's got all kind of talent. He was the #1 high school player.
And are you pleased with the starter?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad Tate Martell, that bum, has gone to Miami. He doesn't start for them. I mean, I didn't like him. I'm glad he's not there anymore. I kind of was hoping.
Is he a bum because he's gone?
He's a bum. He was a bum when he was
here.
Would
you have called him a bum if he was still here?
I did call him a bum. I called him a punk when he was here last year, and I called him he's a bum now.
And if he was still here and was a starting quarterback,
he wouldn't be our starting quarterback.
He wouldn't
be our starting quarterback.
Because you would ban him for being the starting quarterback. You would not allow it.
He doesn't have the talent.
Billy DeMora would say no.
Because
it can't happen.
He doesn't have the talent. But I think we're playing a team on Saturday that we're going to score a lot of points on, that he can make a few mistakes and learn. And I think our offensive line is solid. We're too deep in every position. We have a great wide receiver core. We have a great running back core. I mean, Dobbins is one of the long shot Heisman people that I think is going to get lots of votes by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Our defense is too deep. We've got defensive scheme changes, which I think are better than because last year's defense gave up too many big plays. And I think we have the capability. And I can tell you already that I bought a plane ticket to New Orleans for the national championship game already.
Yeah, of course you did.
Of course,
but don't you kind of do that anyway? Don't you kind of bank on the fact I don't know anybody else like you who plans success so far in advance. I mean, I know that you sent me, and when I say success, I mean also for bowl games and football, but just in general. You sent me an email 2 months ago with a hotel confirmation for the Kentucky Derby next May.
Correct.
Yeah, you've already made reservations for us. At
As well as the Preakness, I made the reservations already for that too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you don't have to go to that one.
So I don't, oh, thank you. I have a choice of the matter, but I am planning on going to the Derby with you next year.
If you've never been to one,
I've never been.
Best day of sports.
I don't have a bucket list. I have I call it a list of shit I still need to do. I don't like the bucket list idea, but the Kentucky Derby was one of them. I've been to the Indianapolis 500 2 or 3 times, but I've never been to the Kentucky Derby. So I'm looking forward to being under the expertise of Bill DeMora, who's been there how many times?
This was my 32nd this past year.
32 times. Yeah. 32 times.
Don't even ask him about his superstitions at the track.
No, I don't have them. No. This was
Just
football.
Buckeyes.
That's
This
it.
is just for a love for the race.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you already got reservations made for New Orleans for the national championship.
Yeah.
And now let's get to the real nitty gritty of why you are the world's most superstitious fan. What new superstitions will be in play, and do they involve the fact that we have a new coach? Is there anything you do? Because you've been under some different, you've had coach changes through your love of the Buckeyes,
right?
So there has to be, and I don't think since we've been chatting that we've had to deal with a coaching change.
We did, because we started with Jim Tressel.
Did we start with Tressel?
Yeah, well, that was the first time I was on the radio show.
Okay.
Not on the podcast.
All right.
Because we won the national championship, Tressel was our coach. The first
All right,
one.
he was. You're right. You would
And
be
then we had
correct.
Deer in Headlights, now coaching Cincinnati for one game. He comes here next week. And
He's not a deer in headlights.
he was when he coached us. If you
He's
saw him on the
a good
sideline,
coach.
He might be now, but when he coached us, he was a deer in headlights. You could see let's look at his face when we played those games. He was a deer in headlights.
Coach Fickle, you're not
right.
you're not a deer in headlights.
Well, he's not now, but he was then. And then we have Urban Meyer, who had the best run. 7 years, never lost a team up north, won the national championship. Won the Big Ten. And so I have made some changes. I've changed my outfit for the season. Completely
Well, first of all,
toe.
let's go. What was the outfit last season?
The outfit last season, I wore a red 45 Archie Griffin jersey.
Okay.
I wore this hat that I'm wearing today.
Okay.
I had a pair of socks I wore for home games, and for cold games, and a pair of socks I wore for warm games.
Okay.
I had a pair of
Just in case.
Of course. No. Well, hey, you want your feet to be comfortable. I get it. You don't want sweaty feet during a Buckeye game.
No, well, the winter socks are longer than the little socks.
I'm
but
sure.
Both Ohio State socks, of course.
Of course,
Oh,
they are. Right.
And
That's good.
And I'm changing watches this year.
Changing what? So what? Okay, but this is stuff you wore last year.
Well, last year I wore the same watch every game.
Okay.
I had one pair of underwear for home games, one pair of underwear for away games.
Okay.
I'm switching them this year. I'm wearing the away underwear for the home games and the home underwear for the away games.
So you're going to switch them.
Yeah.
So what you wore for home games will now be worn on away games.
Yes, I'm going to every away game, but the
and
team up
vice
north.
versa.
Yeah. So
And you have a new watch. Why the new watch?
because last year's watch was last year's watch, and I just picked up this is not my watch. This is one of my 5 Ohio State watches, but not the one I wore into the games.
Okay.
Because I don't wear metal because it's just too hot and sweaty. I wear a black band.
Okay. So you
Makes
don't have
sense.
a warm weather
Yeah,
watch and a cold weather watch?
No,
So
one
like
watch.
the- like
One watch.
one
And the
watch.
watch, I just picked it up from
Okay.
Karaoke Jewelers today. I got a new watch band for my watch.
And is there a new watch every season?
No, I have
there's
5
not.
watches, and I just
But
I wore the same one for
So
the
is
last
this a sixth watch?
no, it's one of the 5 I
It's
just
one
didn't
of
wear
the
for the
5
game.
that's been refurbished.
Yes, when we first.
Okay. And what else? And
don't know.
attire
I
wise,
don't know
what will
about
be
that one.
different?
So this year,
and more importantly, why? Is it because it's a new coach?
it's a new coach, it's a new quarterback, it's a new era.
It's a new-
Have you
it's
had
new.
it?
So you're
It's
going new.
I'm trying to go a little bit new. I have a gray hat this year. I have not decided. So to be named, I either have a red Beanie Wells jersey or a white Archie Griffin jersey. I haven't decided which one I'm wearing yet. I haven't decided.
What's going to determine that?
I don't know. I'm more than likely going to wear the white Archie Griffin because I want to stick with 45. I can't go too far out my realm and change numbers.
Right.
That would be really
right.
bad. That would be really.
And
stepping outside the door.
I can understand Archie being one of the choices, but why Beanie? Nothing against Beanie. I mean, it's a great
I got
choice.
that for my 40th birthday.
You got it for your 40th birthday,
Yeah.
so it was something that actually came to you as a gift,
Yes.
and that had significance. Okay, because you just don't arbitrarily decide,
Oh, no.
well, it's going to be Archie Griffin, I know for sure, and then Eeny, meeny,
No, but
miny,
somebody gave to me for
Beanie.
40.
Eeny, beeny,
Yeah,
miny,
yeah,
mo.
that's
Yeah,
Right, no,
Beanie,
it was a gift for my 40th birthday present, so I still have it. I wear it on occasion, but I haven't
never
worn
to a game.
Never to a
No,
game.
yeah, no.
I think I'm going with the white Archie Griffin because white I mean, I can't switch numbers. That would almost be too much for me.
Yeah, why put additional stress?
I agree. I already stressed enough.
On your already fragile, superstitious system.
But the hat, I go a hat every couple of years. So this is a new hat. I bought the hat several years ago. I just haven't worn it yet. I also have a new pair of shoes. I have a different, even though my shoes are only 1 season old and they're still great, I have a new pair of shoes this year. So bringing out almost new shoes, new socks, new jersey, switching up the underwear, and a new hat and a new watch. So I'm going almost completely new different outfit.
All right, so let me just throw this out there. Rather than just switching the home and away underwear, why didn't you just get new underwear to complete
I think that would be.
the
It's tough
ensemble?
to find underwear anymore. I can't find.
Is it
find
really
underwear.
tough to find underwear?
Yeah.
Is it Ohio State underwear?
Ohio State underwear, yes.
Of course it's Ohio State underwear. You're telling me that there's only 2 types of Ohio State underwear?
I haven't been able to find them in several years. If I could find them, I'd buy them.
Okay.
I'm gonna look on Amazon.
I'm almost afraid to
look
ask
right
this.
now.
Are they boxer, briefs?
They're boxers.
They're boxers. They're boxers.
They're boxers.
Thong.
Full boxers. Not,
Boxers.
They're
we're not
thong.
talking
No,
about
they're
anytime.
boxers. They're Ohio State boxers.
The Ohio State boxers. Right. Do you find that's enough?
No, they don't get washed during the season from the audience. If we don't lose, they don't get washed.
They don't get washed.
If we don't lose,
Oh my God! So if we have, if they don't get washed.
because of bad luck, I don't wash any of the clothes after a game. If we don't lose, I don't wash clothes because I don't want to wash the luck away from those clothes. So if we don't lose,
Okay, I understand the clothes, but these are underwear.
that's still part of the clothes.
Will you wear the same underwear?
If we don't lose, I wear the same underwear every game, of course.
If you're telling me that and it could happen, I don't know what the weather's
Our
going to be
first
like.
game's August 31st. Our last game could be January the 13th.
Okay,
I would wear
I
the same pair of underwear.
I
Absolutely.
understand
We only wear 'em on that day, though.
I
On
understand.
the day. I only wear them on that day.
Huh?
They only get worn on game day.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm talking about the fact. I don't care. I'm saying if we have one of those, and I think the weather's going to be reasonable this Saturday.
Perfect weather.
But if we
79 and
have,
sunny.
but if we have some a last blast of summer, as you know, it can be stifling hot
Yeah.
in the shoe.
Put them in front of the fan. It airs
And
them
you've
out.
got these Ohio State underwear on that are enduring a hot, sweaty game, and they are. And I don't mean to be gross, people. I'm sorry, but they're just a hot, sweaty 4-quarter mess of a pair of underwear. You're telling me that after the win and you strip down to them, you're not gonna you're just gonna put them someplace and then just put them back on again a week later,
Yes.
and all their sweaty.
Well, the
nasty,
sweaty's not there anymore. It will have
What do you
dissipated.
mean it's not there
It would
anymore?
have dissipated.
Oh my God.
All
right,
right,
so here we go.
Aired out, yeah.
So, on Etsy, here's Ohio State a pair of satin boxers.
Oh, it's
How about
satin? No
that
way. No
for
satin.
$14.99?
There's obviously a very good reason why he can't wear
Okay,
satin.
all right,
What
all
are
right,
you?
all right. Here's men's
The
cotton
satin.
on
On Amazon,
Amazon.
I'm going to order some new pairs.
$24.
I like those.
What do you think? They're just black with the Blocko.
Let's order them. I like it.
But you won't wear them for Saturday. You've already made your decision.
What size?
Look,
Large,
we
large,
couldn't
large, or extra
sway you
large
right now.
here?
We
What are you
can't-
at?
In fact, actually, I'm afraid to actually sway
I'm
you
a 38, so get them
All right,
extra large. just
all right,
'cause
extra
I
large.
make
All right, we're ordering right now, and they're gonna come. And well, here's the thing: they're not gonna come for Saturday's
that's what I'm
game.
saying.
Well, no, but
so is this a lost cause?
Well, I
'Cause
can
you-
wear them to away games this year because our first away game isn't for 3 weeks.
There you go.
I can break them into the away game and then switch
All
them.
right, you owe me $25, Dino.
Yeah,
It's
trust
coming.
me,
They're
I
coming.
know. Every time we interview him, I lose somehow. So you'll actually consider wearing these during the season?
I wear them at away games if we.
Because don't you have the away and the home underwear already separated?
Well,
and
they
ready
do,
to
but
go?
But I haven't worn the away underwear yet, so I can.
But they've been chosen is my point.
They're chosen, yes.
So
They're
why
chosen.
can you?
Well, we haven't played a game, away game yet.
But can you deviate from your chosen path? So you're saying before we actually play a game, before the season actually starts, substitutions can be allowed.
Yeah,
You can make some changes.
I can
but
make
once the
changes
season
up
starts,
until-
that's it.
Once the season starts, once I go to a home game, there are no changes unless we lose. Then changes can be made.
Oh no. Oh, no.
I wash the clothes if we lose because that's bad luck. I have to wash the bad luck.
You'll wash
away.
the bad luck out.
Yeah.
So things do change.
If we lose,
All
then we
right,
haven't lost in a
anything
while.
else with the new coach, superstitious wise, that will change or that's
Well,
been added?
I'm breaking this news to everybody. I'm considering.
breaking news.
I am considering night before spending the night with somebody.
Whoa!
Let me
Who's the
recap,
lucky
and
guy?
This is one of our more popular whiskey shots. This is one of our more popular whiskey
No, this
shots.
is Florida Atlantic.
This is
I
Florida
had to do it
Atlantic.
this week so I can do it the rest of the season.
This is
the only
if
game
you
I'm
go
sure.
back in the whiskey business archives, it's one of our more popular whiskey shots. Billy had this rule where he would not have sex before an Ohio State football game. much like a boxer won't have sex before a fight, which makes absolutely no sense. And the one time that he did have sex before a football game, we lost that game.
Correct.
So now you're considering revisiting that whole.
I am.
Is it?
It's a lot of pressure on the second party.
Why the change in?
Well, because if I don't do it for this game, I mean, we're going to beat Florida Atlantic. If we're going to win, I mean, no, if we lose that game, then season be damned. I mean, but we're 27.5-point favorites.
Okay.
I feel confident we're going to win that game by 5 touchdowns.
Okay.
So I have to do it for a game that I'm sure of, because I'm not sure about any other game, Cincinnati or any stuff. So I have to do it for a game that I'm sure of, because if I don't, then it's not going to happen the rest of the season again. I'll go the season without.
And is this overnight stay going to? Is it a lock that it will include sex? I mean, do you feel confident that that's going to happen? That's what he said in the earlier one. Is this a lock?
I mean, I mean,
And if it looks like it's not going that way, if it's not heading that way, do you actually say?
You gotta do it. You gotta do this.
We have to have sex.
That's what I've been worried about. As a married man here, I know.
I'm not saying if I do it this week, then I'm allowed to do it the rest of the season. It doesn't matter. We'll do it, but I'm allowed to. But I probably would have to do it every Friday. You're right.
Every Friday.
Every Friday for home games.
For a home game.
If I do it this week, that's the thing. I'm not confident.
Can we draw up a
I was gonna
contract?
say, that's very bold to say that I would have to do it every Friday. The Buckeyes playing on a football Saturday and on a Friday this season, I might add.
But it's an away game. It's an away game.
It's an away game. So you wouldn't have sex on a Thursday?
Well, I'm not at away games because the person. Again, I don't tend games with a girlfriend, so I can't bring him to the away game.
I understand, but you're confident about this particular Friday before that we kick off the season. So how are you going to make sure that you can guarantee sex before every?
I have a date on Friday night.
Before every Buckeye game. If you have sex,
I can't guarantee it. That's why it hasn't been happening in a while.
Okay, so I don't understand how you rationalize. And even you're wiping your brow. You don't have an answer for this.
No, I don't have an answer for that.
You don't even have an answer.
No, I don't have an answer because I like to be hopeful.
Okay,
but
I'm gonna toss this out. I like to be hopeful. I'm gonna toss this out. All right. First of all, have a great time Friday night. I don't know who the lucky gal is, and I'm not casting aspersions as to whether you have sex or not. That's personal. It's private between two mature, consenting adults. But if you do have sex, and for some strange, crazy reason that is beyond understanding and comprehension, the Buckeyes were to lose.
I'll never see her again.
No. He said no. I know that you would never see her again, but then I would have to insist that you never have sex again for the rest of your natural life.
No. Maybe during football season, but not during the rest of the year when nothing matters.
When nothing matters.
For the whole football season.
Oh, it's happened in previous seasons.
Huh?
It's happened in previous seasons. It's not like anything new.
Right. But
So
I'm saying you have sex with this person on Friday before the Buckeye game, and the Buckeyes somehow mysteriously lose. Like I said, a huge fluke, and probably not going to happen. But you would have to promise me that you would not have sex the rest of the football season. I don't care if the most gorgeous, most beautiful woman of all time walked up to you and said, I think you are amazing and I want to have sex with you. And I know that you can't have sex before a football game. I know everything about you. I want to have sex with you after a football game. But because of that first time loss, you would have to say, no, I can't. I made a promise that I can't have sex during the football season because I messed it up by having sex on a Friday before a football Saturday. You would have to do that. You have to make that promise right now on video.
I don't think I have to do anything. I'll take it under advisement.
Under advisement.
But
hey, God love you. If you think you can have sex before every home game this season with either the same person or different people,
go for it.
Go for
nice
you.
job.
Applause. You're far more
that's
charming
why
than I give you credit
that's why
for.
it might happen, but it hasn't. You know.
It'd be worse if they win.
No.
you know, and he has sex.
There'd be a lot of pressure. There'd be a lot of pressure.
If they, well, no, see, Chip, Chip, your first time to this insanity. If he has sex on a Friday and the Buckeyes win, he's already kind of rationalized the fact that the Buckeyes are going to win on Saturday anyway. So he wouldn't put sex towards the equation of the Buckeyes winning. He's just saying that this is probably the safest arena of in his superstitious ways of having his cake and eating it too, and still keeping everything intact. See, I know you, and that's sad. That's sad that I know you that well at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't hide anything, so I'm an open book.
Wow. Okay, so
I need someone to pour me some more bourbon.
we'll need some more. We need some more. We're out of the
Get the old Pogue. I love old Pogue.
Old Pogue we've had on the show before, but you know, by all means, you brought it, pour it. And for those who, as we've said before on this podcast, we never claim to be whiskey experts, just appreciation, have an appreciation for whiskey. Enthusiasts. So, what do you like about the Old Pogue, Billy?
It's actually the third oldest distillery in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It is the closest distillery to Columbus. It is over in Maysville, Kentucky, right over the border from Adams County. You can take 62 all the way down from Orient, cross the bridge, make a right. It's right there right on the river. You can see Ohio from the distillery. It has a fascinating history about George Remus, who has his wife killed and got off. And
we've had the whole story of Remus with.
But I like it. I mean, it's not too hot, but it's very smooth, and it's one of those things you can't get in Ohio.
Right.
So it makes it
worth the trip. Well, you were very kind and brought me back a bottle of Maysville Rye from Old Pogue as well, which is delicious.
Awesome.
And that has not been on the show yet too, because it's hard to get, and I want it to get all.
I'm gonna bring back 4 bottles.
Are you getting better? Because my next door neighbors are here listening in the background. Longtime friends
I like
of yours.
your female next door neighbor, not the male.
Bill and Karen Mattis came in to kind of sit in and listen. But
he came to drink my bourbon is what he came over.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to get into. There's this whole, you know, all my bottles are available and open, and you had kind of have a reputation for keeping certain things stashed away.
Yes, Bill.
For eternity.
Well, not for eternity.
For eternity.
Well, not really for eternity.
Yes or no? Are there unopened bottles in your house as we speak?
Of course there are.
And are there a lot of unopened bottles in your house as we speak?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because? I mean, the only ones that I purposely don't open are the 4 Pappy Van Winkles I have.
Why?
Because they're saved for...
What are you saving them for?
Special occasions.
What's the special occasion?
National championships, or I win a goddamn election statewide.
Where one of your candidates win that?
No, not my candidate won last time. I'm talking about governor or president.
Where you become governor or president?
No. A Democrat wins governor or president.
Okay,
again.
all right.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm hopeful. I mean, national championship for either
football,
baseball, basketball, or hockey. Or wrestling. One of the 5 biggies.
Any of those, we get a national championship.
Pappy.
Which one?
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, which one?
I don't know.
You know, you kind of know.
No, I kind of.
How many? Which ones do you have?
I have 12, 15, 20, and 23.
Okay. 12, 15, 20, and 23. Which one's your favorite? Out of the
20.
Out of the 20. Okay.
If the football national championship would be 20.
Why?
When we beat Donald Trump, it'll be 20.
Okay.
Because it's my favorite, and so I want to enjoy it with something to enjoy. Yes.
Okay. So
the last time we won the championship, we finished a bottle of 15, Pappy.
Did you?
Yeah.
Opened a bottle of 15?
Opened and finished.
Opened and finished it.
Yes.
You opened it because we won the championship.
Yes.
And
it's done. There's no longer that.
Okay. All right.
The Pappy Vixen drank it at the Halloween party.
The Pappy what?
The Pappy Vixen. My ex-girlfriend used to call.
The Pappy Vixen?
Yes.
The Pappy Vixen.
One of my old girlfriends, one of the club guys' wives would come in. I want Pappy, so she nicknamed her the Pappy Vixen.
The Pappy Vixen. Yeah. Okay. All right. And
because she would come and flirt and sit on my lap, and it would piss her off. My ex-girlfriend. The husband didn't care, but my ex-girlfriend did, so she had a name, the Pappy Vixen.
The Pappy Vixen. So she was only sitting on your lap, and
because she wanted Pappy Van.
Because she wanted Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah, right.
Wow. All right. Okay. Yeah. Or you want to get some Pappy, sit on Billy's lap.
No. She's much better looking than he is. I'm sorry.
I've been trying to refrain from smoking, but
please do, because it's horrible.
I know it's horrible. Have you ever smoked?
Never.
Never had a cigarette.
Never had a cigarette, never had marijuana, never smoked a cigar, never done snuff, never done chew, none of that stuff.
None of that stuff.
I was in San Francisco this last week for work, and everybody, they brought about a bag of spiked gummy bears, and everybody passed them around. I didn't take one.
You never had any type of illegal substance in
Well,
your
alcohol I
body.
drank when I was under 18.
Yeah.
But that's it.
That's it.
Just booze.
Never smoked.
No.
Never offered a cigarette. It's been offered to you. Things have been
course.
offered to you.
Yeah, never.
So, do you think that? What do you think would happen to you if you actually smoked some marijuana or
I don't know.
smoked a cigarette?
I might get addicted. Who knows? With
What,
my
your personality? You get addicted? No.
Don't
not
do
a
it before a
chance.
football
Not
game.
Right, no, we never had before football.
Not a
Unless I did it
chance.
once. Whatever, but no.
Yeah.
But no.
Because your father, God bless him, he smokes cigars.
3 cigars a day, yeah.
Yeah.
He's 96. He's
He's
allowed to.
96. Look at that. Talk about longevity. I mean, is you being a superstitious person, don't you look at your father, 96 years of age, and he's smoking 3 cigars a day and think, hey, maybe I should chill out and smoke a cigar every now and again?
No,
No, not at all.
no, never. Never thought about it.
Okay.
I buy them from him, but I don't smoke.
You buy them for him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He,
Actually,
he never runs out of cigars.
no. Yeah, he's a sweet man. And we've discussed this in previous podcasts. He's not like you. And as far as the this is not an inherited thing. No one, you said in previous podcasts, nobody in your family is like you.
No,
and you
I hope
didn't
not.
inherit this from your
Only one of
father.
us.
Your father is a
My
huge
father
Ohio
was a-
State fan.
My father, back in his day, was thrown out of high school wrestling matches for throwing a chair and throwing his glasses down because he was a wrestling coach. And so he got thrown out of some gyms. I purposely got thrown out of the same gyms when I was in high school just to say father and son got thrown out of the same gym. But,
But he's never been as much of a fanatic as you.
No.
He didn't have things that he did. He didn't have rituals
No,
that he
he
had to
didn't.
follow.
No, he
this is all you.
it's all me, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little warped.
And do you ever think that if you had children, you would pass that gene on? And is that one of the reasons why you haven't had children? So not to pass that gene on?
No, I don't think I'd pass. I don't think it's not a gene.
You don't think?
No, it's not
So
a gene.
it's not in your DNA.
No, it's a condition.
It's a condition. Okay, now we're actually getting down to some nitty gritty. You actually admit that it's a condition, much like you do admit to being OCD.
And ADHD. I got all the D's.
You got all the D's. Yeah, you do have all the D's. So you admit to all that.
Yes.
And yet, in your day-to-day life, they don't come into play as much, or
Well,
do they?
being a little OCD and ADHD helps with being able to juggle what
Your
I
schedule.
juggle and schedules and.
And we should
having a
remind
mind-
people. We should remind people what you do for an actual living, which I find fascinating, despite all this incredible nonsense that involves the
A Democratic
Buckeye.
Party political hack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're
So next year I'll be running 5 campaigns and in charge of the national convention.
yeah,
Just next year, just for
next
2020.
year,
Yeah.
just for 2020.
Yeah.
yeah, you'll be in charge of all that.
Yeah.
And I'll ask this again because I've asked it before. The people that know that you're involved in that position and also know and understand how much of a fanatic you are with this, and do they ever get?
They know not to call me on football Saturday.
They're not. Okay. Pause. It's an important job,
Yes.
working with very important people. And if there is a crisis situation that happened to befall on a Buckeye football Saturday, you'd have to respond on
It'll
something.
be tough because the phones don't work in Ohio Stadium.
No, that's a good out.
they
Come
don't.
on, there's towers everywhere. You can
They
get
don't.
us.
There's too many.
I think they put up new towers this year, though.
they have new
Bill,
towers?
yeah.
Yeah, now
so,
what are you gonna do?
All right, so it all depends. I mean, it's all case by case, but most everybody knows that I am out of reach when Ohio State's playing football. I mean, and the people that don't know that, someone tells them, "Are you kidding me? There's a football game. Ohio State's playing football. You can't call Bill DeMora." I mean, everybody knows it. Everybody in the Democratic Party knows that. That knows me.
Well, it doesn't sound like you get loaded. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not like
I never drink in the game.
38-hour deal.
I don't drink in the games ever.
Well, no. You said you just switched from Pepsi's to beers.
That was before a game. I don't drink during the game ever. No way. I mean, all these beers they sell in the Ohio Stadium, I never buy a beer.
So you don't drink once the game starts. Drinking is out.
Yes.
So you are completely.
I have to be coherent because I watch the game. I'm there for the football. I'm not there to get drunk. I'm not there to party. I'm there to watch football.
Okay. And also, you probably need to have all your faculties because there are a lot of ritualistic things that you mentioned the very
clapping
first
by
time.
fives and all that, yeah,
clapping by fives.
yeah. First downs and all that stuff.
Yeah, clapping by fives. The first. What was the clapping again?
I clap in multiples of 5. How many yards we get?
And the yards we get. Yeah. You still do that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, I know it's always multiples of 5.
Right. Okay.
I just know if we went for 46 yards, I clap 45 times before they announce how many yards because I subconsciously know how much it is.
So you would have to have your full faculties. You couldn't be inebriated or
Plus, you miss the game.
Or
you have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Who wants to do that? I'm paying for the football game.
What? Do you go to the bathroom?
Never. I leave it with my seat. When I get to my seat, don't leave it.
You don't
if
leave
I do, it's only to leave. Bad luck. If I lose, leave it. Now,
Have
if
you
we're
ever-
losing, sometimes I go to the bathroom on purpose to try to switch that up.
What?
If we're winning a home game, I never leave my seat.
Okay. If we're winning a home game, you never leave your seat. If we're losing in a home game,
I sometimes go to the bathroom to change luck.
change luck. And I know. So is it?
Sometimes I leave.
And is it away games or home games that you leave the stadium if they're losing in the fourth quarter? I don't remember.
Away games, neutral site games, and home games too now. I left the Penn State game several years ago. We scored those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to beat Penn State. I had to leave to get my bad luck out of the stadium.
Because you think you're the bad luck at
Yes,
that
absolutely.
point.
Yes, I do.
How do you live with yourself when you think you're the bad
Well,
luck?
we came back and won all those games.
Okay. I want to go back to I want to combine I don't go to the bathroom during a football game if we're winning, with tying in with the winning underwear as well. Have you ever soiled yourself during a football game?
No.
Come on.
Never.
No.
Never.
I mean, dribbled a little bit.
Never.
You're getting older.
No.
No, a little bit, a
Never.
little something.
Never,
and
ever,
then,
ever.
And then knew that after you won and after you dribbled a little bit, you said like, oh, not only these sweaty but they also got a little pee on them.
Happened.
It's never happened.
No. If it ever came to that, if I couldn't manage my own faculties, I'd start wearing Depends or something. But no, it never happened. Never happened.
Would you do that? Would you resort to that? Would you, as you get older? Because I remember you mentioned last year in the podcast that you were going to retire these superstitions at some point.
At some point, I think I'm going to retire everything.
Yeah.
I might retire. If Ohio State keeps trying to price people out of the stadium, who knows if I stop going to games? Probably not. Probably not. What I'll do with myself. But
didn't you
yeah, I mean, I'm contemplating.
You have to go back and listen to Is the Third Time a Charm with Billy DeMora, because that's where you said that there was a certain point where you were going to stop it all.
If we win another title, I might have to retire on the upswing.
If they
Well, just so you know, there's no Ohio State adult diapers.
no what?
No Ohio State adult diapers. So you're gonna have to before you get to that point, you're gonna have to.
Have to invent it or something.
Yeah.
Wow. You actually looked that up?
I just looked it up.
Okay.
No luck. On Amazon at
boxes
least.
get here, by the way.
2 days.
2 days.
Amazon
They're coming
Prime.
to your house, Dino's house, where?
My house.
Okay.
I'll bring them over.
Have to get them. So I have to get them for the first away game, which is 2 weeks from Saturday.
Indiana,
I will
right?
see. I will
We'll make
make
sure it
it a
happens.
point to see before that, and they will be our gift to you. Is that
I
allowed?
appreciate that. Yeah,
Or do you have to purchase your
no,
underwear
no.
too?
A lot of the clothes, all my clothes, most of my clothes are gifts because that's all I get anymore. Is Ohio State clothes. That's all I really want.
Yeah, because you wear Ohio State stuff every day.
Yeah.
He'll think about us every away game.
Every
I
time
love
he
it.
every
It's
time
really
he
nice.
slips into a pair of boxers, and we think of the whiskey
Dino and
business.
Greg.
And I mean, every Christmas, one friend gives me 3 new polo shirts, and I get all Ohio State gifts. Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to give the person has everything. More Ohio State clothes.
What has fallen off the chart as far as superstitions
Over
this
the
year?
years?
No, this year coming up. What's going to change? But I mean, obviously, you told me about the new attire. But what other hardcore, year after year after year after year superstitions may fall by the wayside this year? Are you still going to get up and do Script Ohio in the house?
Of course.
Yes, of course. That's never going to change.
That's not, well, it may change when I can't walk anymore, but right now, no, it's not going to change.
Okay, right now, as long as you're able to
I
get
still
up.
buy the program. I'm still getting the stadium, the first person in the garage, and all those other things. I don't change that because I wouldn't know what to do if I changed something like that.
Something that drastic.
Yeah, something that drastic.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, maybe something happens one day or week. I mean, not after we lose. I mean, after we lose a game, I don't wear Ohio State clothes for 2 days.
That's your morning period?
My morning
Right.
period, yes.
Right.
But maybe
Can't you wear something Ohio State in black?
I have lots of black, but no, I can't wear anything Ohio State because I'm so depressed and pissed off at them. They lose a game, so I can't wear anything. I mean, it's tough for me to find. I mean, I have one watch that's not Ohio State, so I wear that watch, and it's tough for me to.
That's the morning watch.
The morning watch.
The morning watch.
It's tough for me to find 2 days of clothes that don't have the Ohio State on them because I got lots of Ohio State clothes.
Yeah.
It's tough. It really is tough.
Right.
I wear Indian stuff or brown stuff. Or Blue Jackets. No, yeah. So.
Okay, in place of the
Ohio State
the
clothes,
Buckeye
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. When I'm wearing something,
If we see you in Browns attire, Blue Jackets attire, or
not during Blue Jacket season,
or grown up clothes.
No, because I have in San Francisco.
we know that you're mourning.
I have 5 Brooks Brothers dress shirts.
Really?
With the O on the cuff.
On the cuff.
Specifically made, so they are Ohio State, but they're big. Brooks Brothers shirts are $100 each.
I understand.
They're custom made.
Yeah.
And they have O on them, so it's Ohio State attire, but it's dressed up. They're big boy clothes.
They're big boy clothes. Because you have a big boy job.
I do.
Yeah. So you have to, dress
I have
the
Ohio
part.
State ties.
Of course you do. I don't doubt that for a
I
second.
wore it last to the White House with President Obama. I won't wear it again until we get another Democratic president.
Okay, and do you feel well? I don't want this to turn into a political podcast at all. But you do work for the Democratic Party, so I'm just kind of curious if you feel hopeful this go around that things will go your way.
I do. Mm-hmm. If not, I'm moving to Italy.
Really? What'd you do?
And then I would give up all my superstitions because I'd be living in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what would you do? You'd probably get involved in
Soccer.
some sort of soccer, European
Yeah.
soccer.
Oh,
You'd
never.
your superstitions would have
No.
to find
Bocce.
some place to land and become something. I don't think that what you possess as a superstitious person could ever be completely laid to rest
It could be.
forever and a
They only
day.
do it for Buckeye
They
games.
would manifest themselves in
It would
some
not.
other way, shape, or form.
No, it wouldn't.
I think they would.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm confident in that.
You're confident in that.
it would not.
Yeah. So.
Because I don't do it anywhere else.
But you're not going to move to Italy if the Democrats don't win next year.
I don't know.
You're not going to do that.
I don't know.
No, you're not going to do that. You're too valuable of an asset to the Democratic Party. They wouldn't let you. They wouldn't let you. Come on. I on these podcasts I tease you a lot. We poke a lot of fun, but I will be the first one to admit that when it comes to his job and what he does for an actual living day in and day out, I mean, you are dedicated to the core. I mean, you work hard, man, and you don't mess around. If somebody is in your corner, you got them covered. So
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
And I know you can't control the fate of how the world goes and how people decide. I know you've had some bitter losses, but I also know you've had some incredible victories over the course of your career, what you do. So, yeah, I'm not doubting that at all. So to say I'm going to move to Italy, nah, that ain't going to happen. Not yet.
We'll see.
Not yet. You're not going to go anywhere.
Probably not. I don't have enough money to live in Italy. That's true, too.
You don't need that much. Come on.
That's true. If I sold my house.
You sold your house. You probably have more assets than you realize. You could probably live very comfortably. I mean, you got to be... Yeah, sell all your. Bill says sell all your Pappy Van Winkle.
I think I could sell all 4 bottles of Pappy unopened and probably get $20,000.
Probably, easily.
That's my ace in the hole if I ever lose lose it all.
We cracked open a bottle of the 10-year Old Rip Van Winkle, and I know that was
say that for me this week. You told me.
Well, that's when I thought that we were going to actually average out, and you would be the 100th bottle, but it didn't work out that way. So I apologize. Okay. And if you want some of the Old Rip Van Winkle or some of the 12, I'd be more than happy to share it with you because you see here in my house, we open all the bottles. We open all the bottles if there's a reason to open them.
For one of our audience members, I opened a bottle of Sazerac 18 for her. She came over one day.
Yeah.
So Sazerac 18 is harder to get, just as hard to get as Pappy Van Winkle, even a little tougher to get.
I understand.
So.
I understand.
That's just because I don't like rye.
Of course.
He doesn't like rye.
No, Bill doesn't. I don't open for Bill. I open for Karen.
For Karen.
Of course, yeah.
And he likes rye. I've seen him drink rye.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
He's FOS.
He's what?
FOS.
What? FOS.
Full of shit.
He's got his on his top shelf. He says, "This is not for anyone named Bill."
What's he saying
No, it
back
says
there?
don't touch. That means you, Bill Mattis. That's what I say.
The Bill. So you have
Because Bill Mattis stole half a bottle of Elmer
stole.
Yeah, stole.
Have a bottle.
Yeah.
Stole.
Yeah.
Stole. This is a longtime friend. This is a.
Can't reach that high.
You were in
I'm
his.
5'8".
You were in his wedding, and you're.
He didn't ask me. If he didn't ask me, but now
And you
all he does is
stole
ask
it.
me, so I purposely don't give it to him because he asks me all the
Okay.
time. It's like the kid. The more you want something, the less you're gonna get it.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
So get back to football. I predict. I said I think we're gonna win the Big Ten again. All these, the big, ESPN and all their schmuckies picking the team up north on little Jimmy khaki pants. I mean,
Little
that's
Jimmy khaki pants. Yeah, we're gonna beat Michigan again.
I mean, they stink. Little Jimmy khaki pants stinks. Okay, and anybody that thinks that we don't own them is sorely mistaken. Now I always worry about those tweener games, like Purdue, like Iowa the year before that. Those are the ones I worry about. I never worry about us getting up for the team up north.
No, we never have to worry about that. No.
And we scored 62 on them last year. 62. We could have scored 80. We should have scored 80. We should have run the score up. As Woody Hayes said, why'd you go for 2? Because I couldn't go for 3. We should have scored 80 on them just to rub their noses in it because I hate them.
Mm-hmm. How you really feel?
But I think we have the talent to go to the next championship playoffs again. I firmly believe that. And in New Orleans, what a better place.
All right. So you said some of the tweener games frighten you out of the entire schedule, which some people look at our schedule and go easy schedule.
Nah, that's not true. I worry about at Northwestern on a Friday night because we beat them for the Big Ten championship. Now they don't have a lot of talent, but Friday night game, the first Friday night game we've ever played. A little nervous away.
Northwestern?
Yeah, Northwestern. Yeah.
Friday night game in Chicago. So I'm a little nervous about that.
Nah, you'll be all right.
I always think we're going to win by pratfall games. I am a little worried. I mean, I'm never worried about home games because I think we pull them out. But Penn State again the week before we played a team up north.
Right, back to back.
Back to back. It's always. I mean, Penn State and Ohio State's had wars. The last several years have been wars. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've played us tougher than any team in the Big Ten. Certainly better than the team up north has. And I'm worried about that game because we're playing the team up north the next week. So, of course, I'm nervous for that game too. Luckily, the week before Penn State, we play Rutgers at Rutgers, and I've been there the first 2 times we played. I'm going again this year, and we scored 70 and 72, so I'm confident we score another 70 against Rutgers.
Yeah, but don't you also worry when we have those big blowouts that the following week everybody worries about the letdown factor? We've done that. We've done that.
We beat the team up north. We scored 62. The next week we beat Northwestern by 3 touchdowns in the Big Ten championship game.
Okay.
So I don't, I worry about the away tweener. I was not worried about the team up north game last year, but I was with Bill and Karen when we played Purdue, and I had to leave the Purdue's house we went because I had a bad feeling. I told people, I got a bad feeling about this game. I'm worried about this game. And then when they brought the cancer kid on the screen, I knew we were doomed. And of course,
we lost power too.
Bill and Karen lost power. I went home. I knew we were doomed. I had that game off. In the middle of the second quarter, I turned the game off, and I just drank myself to death because I was pissed off because I knew we were going to win. I was worried about that whole week, and it came to fruition. So I have some kind of premonition, maybe.
So you don't go to every away game?
Yeah, well,
he tries to.
I tried to. That game, I couldn't because we had the state Democratic Party dinner the next night on Sunday. I couldn't. I had to be there all day. I couldn't
you can go
to a night game in Lafayette.
Yeah.
And did you blame yourself a little bit for not being there?
Because the Iowa game we lost and the Purdue game we lost were the first games of that season I did not go to. Home or away.
It could have been in the national championship.
So I blame myself. I do blame myself a little bit. That's why I'm going to every game this year except the team up north.
So why don't
we lost up there? So that's
will there ever be a time? And we'll close on this. Will there ever be a time that you ban yourself?
I have banned myself
from an Ohio State football game.
I have because I will never go to a stadium.
Not leave a game. I mean ban yourself where I am not permitted to go to another Ohio State football game.
I am not permitted to go to Whiskey or State College or up north because I saw a game there and we lost. So I banned myself from ever going back to the stadium because if I go to
those are away games.
Wait, I banned myself from going to a game in a stadium, an away game that we lose to.
Those are away games.
Yes.
I'm saying, would you ever ban yourself from a home game under the right circumstances?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's an awfully
under the right circumstances.
What are the right circumstances?
But that's what you're saying. If I'm not at the game, there's much more weight on the world than if I'm not. Because there are more things that would go wrong if I don't go to the game than would be if I'm at the game.
Would you TiVo it?
No. There are more.
There are more things of me having to be at the game than there are me not.
All the things he does in the stadium brings the good luck.
That luck. So if I am not there, then I think would be fated not to ever win a game.
So, for the sake of Buckeye Nation, you couldn't completely ban yourself from
the last home game I missed. We lost to Sparty in 1988.
Yeah, I was there. I was there as well.
No, not that season. 1988, we lost We beat the team up north. The only time that John Cooper beat the team up north.
okay.
We lost to Sparty the week before because I was at the game. I went to a Breeders' Cup horse race. That was the 4th home game I missed since 1980, and I have not missed one since.
All right. Okay. I think I got it all.
Makes
It was,
sense.
it was 98. It was the year we had. It was 98, not 88. Sorry, 98.
98.
We had Orlando Pace.
I was at that game.
We had-
That's the one I told you I was at.
I thought you went to the other Michigan State game.
No. What other Michigan
The
State
Michigan
game?
State game we lost for back-to-back titles when we had
No,
Barrett.
this is
and
98.
When Zeke-
98.
when Zeke.
When we were on
When we
course,
could Zeke the ball almost
we
like
were
that.
on track for a perfect
Yes,
season.
that game. Yes,
That one.
that's the game I missed because I went to a horse race.
And I
we
think I
lost.
probably have been to an Ohio State game since then. If I can't remember which one though, but that was the one where
That was the home game I missed.
That's
and we lost.
You missed that game in '98. You weren't there.
Because
So it wasn't my fault. It was your fault.
It was my fault because we lost.
It was your fault.
We had
It wasn't
lost.
me. I didn't do anything wrong. You didn't show up.
My candidate lost for governor, Lee Fisher. He lost, and the Breeders' Cup was that week in Churchill Downs. And I thought, well, I need to get out of town because I'm depressed. And we lost, and I'll never forgive myself for it. That's why I haven't missed a home game since. Because
don't believe it.
There's more of me. I have to be at the game.
I don't believe. I don't
telling
believe
you.
this has come. This has never been revealed on this.
The last home game I missed was November of
No,
1998.
I don't think you've ever actually purposely admitted on this podcast that you skipped an Ohio State home game.
I did because I was depressed.
Yeah, because you were depressed. The rest of us had to.
Yes,
Had to.
I blame myself for it. I have not missed a home game since because of that. That's absolutely correct.
You know that. I'll say it again. You know that that's not true. You know it's not true.
Absolutely it's true. No, I don't know
It's
that.
not true,
It is true.
Billy.
It is. I
It's
firmly
not
believe it.
true.
It is.
It's just the nature of the game. It's
No.
college football.
No, it happens.
It's how it works. Whether you're there or not, it doesn't really matter. You know that, right, my friend?
No.
Deep down in your heart of hearts.
No.
No, you don't. You don't believe that at all.
I don't believe that at all.
You will stick to what we've discussed in almost every podcast we've had you on. That you are part of it.
Yes.
And God
Absolutely.
forbid, I hope you live to be as old as your father and then some. But who will take your place? Who will you pass the baton to? Who will wear the crown? Who will carry on your crazy fucked up superstitions into the next century of Buckeye football?
I'll find somebody.
You'll find somebody?
I will. I've been looking.
Will it be like a sword in the stone, like King Arthur? Will there be something that will be embedded? And only the true superstitious fanatic will
It'll
be
be-
able to pull it out
It'll
of
be the person that I pass my necklace to.
Oh, the which necklace?
My necklace. I have the Italian horn,
Oh, some gold
a pair of
pants.
gold pants, and a lucky horseshoe.
Wow.
So,
You don't want to be buried with those?
well,
You kind of do,
well,
don't
if I'm
you?
dying, no. I mean, why would I waste it in the ground when I could give it to an Ohio State fan that let
Okay.
the luck keep going?
You got to. So you have that in your.
Plus, I'm being cremated. Don't you? My will says I get cremated. And a friend of ours, John Reichley,
You're getting what cremated?
Cremated.
Cremated.
I was going to say
Yeah,
cremated.
You put the accent on a different.
Sorry.
So
So
Syllable.
half of my, I
No,
get
cremated.
Ashes go on the finish line of Churchill Downs and the 50-yard line of Ohio Stadium. It's in the will. I leave $5,000 for somebody to do those things.
I'll do it.
5,000.
It's up to,
$5,000, I'll do.
It's up to my executor, John Reichley. He has the power. If he's not alive, then it'll be my.
I'll do it.
No,
I'll do it, I
John
guess.
is actually giving me. He doesn't even have it yet. He's giving me a worksheet for my will as well. So yeah, not 10 years ago. It was 5 years ago, and a lot of things have changed since then. So, but yes, I also have very special circumstances and things that need to be executed in mine as well. So we do share that.
Yes.
That we
But the two most holy places.
And I too.
Ohio Stadium and Churchill Downs.
I too want to be cremated. It doesn't even sound like,
Cremated.
like something that's going to be done after we die. It sounds like something you'd hear on Top Chef.
Yeah.
You know, and what we're going to do now with the vegetables, we're going to cremate the vegetables and stir in some sauce and make a lovely.
My childhood
souffle.
dog was cremated.
Whatever.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up. So opening day score. What do you think? Just for posterity here, because people won't listen to this till after the football game.
I
What
think
do
it's going to be 56-17.
you think they'll score 17 points on us?
Because the second and third team will be in half the second half.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
They'll score one, maybe they'll score a field goal in the first half against the first team, but then when you're up 56-3, the
You're
third,
gonna give
fourth team defense.
let everybody else get some experience,
Yeah,
get some
exactly.
playing time,
Yes.
and so they will score some points on us, but only because we're kicking back and
Yes.
allowing them to.
Correct. Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you really think we'll go undefeated this
I do.
year?
I
Yeah.
think
Obviously, you got your tickets for New Orleans,
Yes,
for
I
the
do.
national
I play
championship.
tickets, yes.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that we can't get into the national championship with anything less than a perfect season. Well, obviously, we've seen that happen in college football, but
We did it
yeah.
first year.
So
No, and I think people are sick and tired of seeing the Southern teams. I hate Clemson. I hate Alabama. Everything from the South sucks. We should let them secede several years ago, right? I'm trying to fight a war with them. But I think the Big Ten has proven itself to be the best conference now. And, so I think one loss, Big Ten championship team, after what happened the last couple of years, they get in.
okay, everything in the South doesn't suck. You know that if we have go to the championship game, we're going to New Orleans. New Orleans doesn't suck.
No, it
it's a
doesn't
great
suck.
place to go.
It's a great place to go, but I still wouldn't live there.
Okay. All right. We're gonna. I'm exhausted. I'm sure you're ready to go and do something. But
I'm
these.
going to go set up the tailgate when I leave, right? Isn't that what I'm
Well,
doing?
yeah. I mean,
right.
tomorrow's. You got to start getting things ready.
I do.
You like 2 or 3 days of prep for that, right?
I've already loaded the truck with everything but the coolers.
Right.
Well,
And
done.
the satellite gets the television, obviously. 'Cause I
Right.
watch the television. So,
Right.
But I've already got that. I did that on Monday. I got home from Sunday. I got home from San Francisco. I loaded the generator and the tables and the chairs and all that stuff is already in my enclave, and we'll stay there until the last game is over.
The Buick Enclave. That's the official.
Official tailgate car.
tailgate
Like,
vehicle. All right.
WPD was your license plates, Ohio State plates. Yes.
You're what? You're what?
I have Ohio State license plates.
Yeah.
It says WPD. My name OSU.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, good luck. I mean, for both of us, I'm obviously a Buckeye fan, and I'm rooting the Buckeyes on. Good luck with the tailgating every year. And like I said, I really want to come down, but in the back of my
You can
mind,
go tailgate. That's not
after
affect
all
it.
these,
That's not going to affect it.
tailgate
won't affect it.
after all these tailgate doesn't affect the.
Shouldn't affect. It's not-
Okay, it
it's not
shouldn't
big.
affect, but in the back of your mind, if that happens,
But if you're the
You'll
only new
factor it
person
in.
that comes to a tailgate and they lose, that's one thing. But I don't think they'll.
okay.
Because I have new people coming. I have tickets, and I try to give. I have a cousin. First time he's coming to a game, he's coming to the Miami game because I'm not really worried about that game either.
Okay.
So if I don't stay with somebody this Friday night,
Yeah.
then Miami game is the next possible time I would do it.
If I don't stay with somebody, so you don't even have that locked up yet for this Friday?
No, I mean I have a date.
You have a date.
I have a dinner with two other couples and myself and my friend at their home, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I hope it goes well.
Good luck.
I hope it goes well. And
I'm more
I hope
concerned about that, really.
We've never had him on after a Buckeye season. Maybe there can be a short little whiskey shot, a post DeMora podcast.
Well, we're saying
after a
he's been
Buckeye
on 4
season.
episodes, and we
This is
think
our
it might
fourth one,
be
yeah.
the most, if not tied for the
Yeah,
most.
it might be the
again.
most or
So
tied.
my fans
Your
need
fans,
more.
your fans need more. I don't think I could take more. Honestly, I don't think I could take much more.
But
And
if
I'm
you
going to
said-
see you tomorrow night for dinner. And we're
Yes.
going to be hanging out tomorrow night.
But if you said, my podcasts tend to be listened to
Yes, they do.
more frequency than other podcasts.
They do over the years, and they do seem to generate
Because I have lots of Facebook friends,
especially,
and when I set on my
especially
Facebook
during
page,
especially during football
Right.
season.
And when I put on my Facebook page, that's 3,000 people all wanting to know how crazy I am, all wanting to hear another podcast.
Well, by all means, you need to tell them this year that not only were you on the podcast again, but that you were on the podcast
Award-winning
award-winning podcast.
Well
of the
deserved.
year.
Well deserved.
Right. So you need to tell them that. All right, our guest has been the always wonderful, always entertaining, and will be crazy to the day he gets cremated, Billy DeMora. Billy
Cremated.
DeMora. And thank you, man. I really do
I love
appreciate
coming
it.
here, absolutely.
I have such a good time with these conversations. And even though we recycle some of the old stuff, I always find something new and discover something new about you that I don't know, which I find amazing after almost 20 years of friendship. Remind everybody about the social medias, and also you got some reviews that you want to read
thanks
as well?
to Max Eck. Dino can make anyone interesting. I know from experience. This podcast has a great mixture of comedy, booze, and life lessons. Quite the concoction. Thanks to Max. And you can write and review on iTunes podcast. That helps propagate the podcast.
That's one of Hansberry's favorite words, even though he's not really sure what it means.
I wish I was on all these social media activities.
Yeah.
I don't know how to Instagram or all that stuff. I don't have to do that.
Well, neither does Dino. But we're on Instagram,
I'm trying.
Facebook, and YouTube and Twitter. Thanks for sharing whiskey business with all of your whiskey loving friends and maybe some Buckeye friends this time around.
And Uncle Nearest started following
Yeah.
us on Instagram as well. You wanted to try some Uncle Nearest.
Never had it. I'd like to try
Yeah,
this.
Uncle Nearest started following us on Instagram as well because I did a little video where I was finishing off a bottle of it, and it was right there
I'll
in the
make sure
video.
old Forster guy knows we plugged him with his barrel today, so I'll make him start following too.
They should be. We had Jackie Zykin from Old Forester.
Right.
Old Forester should be following us after Jackie. I think they might be. I'm not. I don't want to say that they're not, and say that they aren't when they actually might be. But thank you, Uncle Nearest, for following us on Instagram. We're thrilled to have you, and we've already had your bourbon, your whiskey on the podcast in the previous episode, but
Rye?
We'll be happy. No, I don't think that there's an Uncle Nearest rye. It was just
We'll find
a
something.
whiskey. Yeah, but we'll do something else again. And so thank you to Max for the good review. Keep rating and reviewing us. Whiskey Business is a Never the Luck production produced on the audio side by the podcast award-winning Greg Hansberry and the podcast award-winning John Whitney on the video side on our YouTube channel. There'd be no podcast awards for Whiskey Business if it weren't for these two gentlemen, and I mean that sincerely. So, my friends, until the next bottle, see ya.